Good afternoon, everyone. Climate change is now playing a part in even making volcanoes more fierce. Remember all this news feed constantly about the Bali volcano going to erupt and cool the Earth's temperatures? It even got so drastic that they had satellite images of new cracks in the crater and the eruption was imminent. Until the daredevil walked up there, took these photos showing just a couple steam vents coming out, no crack, and then suddenly it disappears from the news feed. But of course, the global warmingist crowd was just hoping for the volcano to try to explain away the increasing sea ice far above normal. Looking at region by region and sea by sea in the Arctic Circle, see that orange circle right there? That's this year's sea ice growth. Notice how far above it is in every single location. Hudson Bay, amazing. Baffin Island, I said, no, it can't be that far above the baseline anomaly. So I checked with the Canadian Ice Service, and indeed, the amount of ice up there choking any passages so far, and you see those red triangles? Those are icebergs. Click the bell to stay subscribed and get the latest updates. Mount Agung made the newswire for over a week impending eruption. The Express couldn't help themselves except say that climate change is now playing a part in making volcanoes more fierce. And I love how a trace gas in our atmosphere, that's 0.03%, can push on the rocks across our planet and displace the crust so much that it makes our volcanoes so fierce. That is one nasty gas. And of all the things, how did they slip this iceberg picture inside a volcano story? And hundreds of tremors are still being felt on Sunday alone, which indicates the volcano could erupt imminently. Sea level rises, ice, change in a volcano story. That's really unbelievable. Here's the image they use, steam rising from Mount Agung. And we kept hearing how the eruption was imminent, and they even had satellite images to reveal new cracks in the crater, and this volcano was going to cool the planet if it went off. Kind of looks like a crack with that yellow sulfur at the bottom there. A little bit misleading though. When we really take a look, a daredevil went up there, took these images himself from the crater, and all we see is a couple tiny little steam vents. Ever been to Yellowstone? Ever been to Taiwan? The steam vents have more activity than that as a tourist destination. So anyway, this daredevil climbs up there on the crater rim, shows you these images, and what you thought was a crack is not really a crack. Suddenly, this story disappears from the entire newsfeed. That's why the Bali government made these people return home. There's really no imminent threat for eruption at the moment. Everything died down and there's no cracks. That was a full-on media scam. They keep trying to push this narrative because they're going to have to explain the cooling this year. So the media and the IPCC and the global warming crowd, now they're at a loss to explain this cooling and massive increases in ice. So this graphic here brings us up through October 4th. We were told ice was decreasing to all-time record lows, yet this is well within the 2% standard deviation. It's like now the 8th least amount of sea ice recorded. So let's jump from region to region here. This is the Arctic basin broken down by the seas, and really how much ice is up there. If it's showing that there's increases, I'm going to start with the least interesting amounts of abnormal ice up to the highest amounts of abnormal ice. Okhotsk Sea. Far right is where we are in 2017. As you can see, there's been 4 instances where this ice is approximately the same. Here we are 2017, and we're told the ice is going into complete melt mode. Yet how can it be the 4th highest in this sea on record since the satellite era began, which the IPCC and the global warming crowd always spouts to tell you that the ice is melting? Arctic basin itself, that was the center green. Look how much higher it is above baseline. That's the highest anomaly ever seen on this chart since '79. Bering Sea area, far right circle, look how high that is above the normal baseline. That anomaly is startling when you look at it. And then when we come over to the East Siberian Sea, look how much higher. That is the all-time highest anomaly ever seen since the satellite record began. And then the Kara Sea is just fall out of your chair to look to see how much extra ice is up there at this time of the year compared to the last 37 years. Barents Sea, Chukchi Sea, Greenland sea ice. Let's take a look at Hudson Bay, far right 2017. That red anomaly ranges up into maximum range almost. That is amazing how anomalous that is compared to the rest of the years. That's literally double the most anomalous ice in 1987. Baffin Island in Newfoundland. This is the area I'm focusing on because the last major glaciation was the seed point focused on this area here in the northern hemisphere. Literally the glaciation started at this point. So for me, chasing down the grand solar minimum, I'm always looking here first to see if there's cool anomalies, snow, etc. building, adding, and we've seen that for the last 2 years. It's been incredibly cold all the way through St. John's, all the way down in that Maritimes of Canada, starting from Baffin Island. This year, what would you expect with the ice? Same thing. Look how high that is on 2017 on the right side there. Unbelievable. So I said, no, I got to go to Canadian Ice Service because I know they had a map of this particular area. Here we are. Ice. Already at 100%, closing off that passage and waterways already this early in the year. You see those red triangles? Those are a flotilla of icebergs. So earlier this year when they had all those icebergs come by, that disrupted shipping traffic, that pushed all the container vessels and breakbark 400 miles south, that iceberg flotilla is still continuing. I've linked everything below in the description box, especially with the interactive map where you can just go in and click all those different sea ice areas so you can follow the progression. You can check this information on your own. And you can go to Canadian Ice Service to check out their series of maps. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Full court press to try to explain the cooling. They're going to use any means necessary to explain it. You've been told your whole life everything's melting to oblivion. It's going to get hotter, hotter, hotter. And here we are, record sea ice in the Arctic.